The new season just dropped recently in MHUR Ultra Rumble. It adds a solid amount of content into the game, whether it be the new character Endeavor, the battle pass, or the progression at least I've been waiting for since I finished the last one a while ago. I will be going over the most important ones to me in this video, so stay tuned. I hope you enjoy, and please subscribe if you enjoy it. Starting off with the one everybody wants to know one way or another, the patch notes. And to speedrun the bug fixes section of the patch notes, this will include a bunch of moves that used to grapple but not work, like Aizawa's binding and Izuku's black whip, a good amount of crashing bugs, which I have experienced myself, a few UI based bugs that wouldn't update properly, and the biggest one in my opinion being Uraraka's Zodiac wire, which we will definitely get into later in the video. This line is being added in after I watched the trailer, and I'm gonna include the fact that 2v2 has been added as a casual game mode, which is really sick because most of the time I would play with only one friend anyways and have to queue up for a random who would or would not work with the team. Now we are done with the bug fixes, let's get into the character changes and what they do to them. They are not too many, but as long as they're good I don't really care about the length. They nerf Tsuyu's ribbit swing so it stays the same width for all the quirk levels. And reduce the duration of judgment. Didn't know Tsuyu was a judge in her past life, but without the joke, I think they decreased the duration of it, but I'm not 100% sure. Kaminari got a change to his human stun gun, so it's easier for the opponent to be blown back, which I would take as it will take less attacks before he goes into stun, which would be a nerf, but I'm not 100% sure on it yet. They gave some general quality of life things to All Might, including his special action having a larger range to pick up teammates, and the ability to roll out of the startup animation for the jump in his special attack. They're really solid changes. I wish they would have tweaked All Might's special action a few other ways, but that's just me, so it doesn't matter too much. Aizawa got more buffs that he desperately needs in my opinion, and those include the fire rate and range of his A quirk, the jump you get after jump attacking with his A quirk, and if you hit an enemy with the jump version of his A quirk, it will stun them in place for more consistent damage. And his special quirk got a quick buff / nerf. It no longer cancels healing and finishing animations, which I don't think it ever should have, but now it starts up faster once you use it. So an overall buff. And Kendo got some movement speed. Now onto the final sections where we talk about the changes and not the two characters I want to get into after this. Now there's unlock buttons for every single type of unlockable character, showing you where and how to get them. Knocking down enemies is the main way to get kills instead of finishing them off once they're downed, including the fact that you can no longer retire mid-knockdown, and it is just a great change overall that will improve the game significantly. Because retiring mid-knockdown was really just a way to say you're not gaining health from me, screw you. And the final and much more simple change is the fact that they lock abilities when the countdown starts for the match, so no more game-breaking glitches happen. Now let's get into Endeavor and Uraraka. Endeavor is both a reliable and highly skill-based character at the same time, with a lot of fun to boot. Endeavor's A quirk, Burning Ray, is a one-shot consumption beam that does average damage but stays out for 2 to 3 seconds and constantly hits the enemy as long as you're on them. It's really good at hitting a few hits to get the burn damage stacking, and forcing the enemy to move out of cover by spraying it either at the cover or at bushes that they're hiding behind. Now his B quirk, Searing Arrow, is a throwable ball that has average movement speed, and once it either hits the ground or an enemy will explode in an upwards pillar, doing high damage to anyone close to it. I will add, if you were to throw it on a vertical surface, it will tilt with the surface becoming horizontal, kind of like Cementoss's A quirk. If you hit an enemy with it directly, it will appear on them and attack on them no matter what. And once the pillar does explode, it will do high damage to anything within the radius of it, being a really high skilled but really good B quirk. And finally the Y quirk, Prominence Burn, is a wider version of your A quirk, but it warns the enemy ahead of time with a red cone on where it will be. You can aim it, but it aims slowly and you can no longer move during the attack. It's really good because it can go through walls, attacking many enemies safely. Or it's genuinely good because of how wide the area of damage is, so if an enemy isn't ready, they will get hit by it. Finally, we got his special ability, which is a less effective but more versatile version of All Might's special quirk. You can either press it on the ground, which will do the jump just like All Might and take away 50% of the charge, or you can use it in the air by pressing jump again, which will make you float for a certain amount of time depending on how much percentage you have left. It's really useful for getting to high ground or just floating to aim your other attacks, which also can stall you in the air. He's a really well balanced and fun character, unlike Aizawa was for me. And I hope I get him in the gacha so I can play him frequently after he gets less popular so I can play him more. And finally, we get to Uraraka and her fixed A quirk, which was the main issue I had with her this entire time. I'm not sure if it will pop up again, but for the time being, the one match I did play as her, which I won. I didn't have a single shot that felt like it was a miss because of the game's fault, and the wire, which would always glitch out before, looked perfectly straight every time. I'm excited that she's finally the top tier character I always knew she could be, and I will probably be playing her some of the most out of any character because I genuinely love her toolkit. And those are my general thoughts on Season 2 of My Hero Ultra Rumble. I'm happy with them even though there are a few things they could have done. Make Endeavor a hero ticket character because we already have too many characters locked by gacha. Otherwise, that's an entirely different bag of worms. Thank you for watching the video and expect more MHUR content since I'm excited to try out everything it has to offer this update. And I might be streaming sometime soon, either today or tomorrow, so expect that. See ya!